that in the base of Migdash, or the base of Migdash is the house in which we put the chair and the footstool, which is also called Hadoim Ragla. The limit of Torah v'kim etzisel b'shleimus u'ba'ifnachinai l'kimitzvah through the Beis Hamikdash, through the Geula, in other words, becomes the idea of the study of Torah and fulfillment of mitzvahs in a perfect way, in the most highest way, that it's the mitzvahs of your will, dafka specifically, as we've spoken about different times, because when is it considered the mitzvahs of your will? When everything is perfect, when the physical object with which we do the mitzvah is perfect, when the person performing the mitzvah is perfect, etc. We brought previously in the Maimer, the pasuk, that it says, the one that is poor and humble of spirit and trembling for my word. Maybe it wasn't this Maimer, maybe it's a different Maimer, I don't remember now for sure. What's the idea of being low of spirit? What's the idea of being chared al dvari, trembling for my words? In other words, he's very careful to do the right thing. This idea that he's being very careful to do the right thing, so that brings him, that's a state of Kabbalah soil. In the Gemara, it speaks about that there's certain types of fear that causes a woman to actually begin her period, and there's certain types which just the opposite. That type of shock causes the blood flow to cease. But that's called charada. If it's a charada, it's misalekes adam. It's something that causes the blood flow to cease. What does that mean spiritually? That idea, the cessation of the blood flow, indicates a total bit. By days and nasa based on Mikdash, through that becomes a level of we are both a mishkan and a base of Mikdash, until we become a host for the Eibishter himself. Like all the details it's explained in Tanya about how a person, through his avodah and through his learning Torah and through his doing mitzvahs, especially through studying Torah whenever he has a chance, so then he becomes a host for the Shechina, just like the Beis HaMikdash, contained in it the Aron, which was a host for the Shechina. Then the Yid who does this, and he's the Ani and the Cheiruach and he is hosting the Shechina within him, so then he rules over the heavens are the Eibishter's throne, the Aretz, the earth, which is the Eibishter's footstool, and Valabayis Kuloi, and he rules over the entire house and home for the Eibishter. And he builds the entire world. How does he build up the entire world? Because once he is operating the Beis HaMikdash, and the Beis HaMikdash is a place that influences the entire world, through the fact that it says that the Beis HaMikdash is such a place that light exits the entire world. That's why the windows in the Beis HaMikdash were narrow inside and wide on the outside. To make a home for the Eibishter down below. That is the level of the Yidden, what they accomplish. Now remember, we spoke about that there's Shamayim HaChadoshim v'Aretz HaChadosha. There's the new heavens and the new earth. And then there's the regular heaven. So the regular heavens we just now explained. And then there's Mashiach's times, the new heavens and the new earth. Now we're going to juxtapose what we just now spoke about, the Shemayim v'Aretz that a Yid does, to what it brings to and what causes afterwards, when Mashiach's coming, the Shemayim Chadoshim v'Aretz Chadosh. Ois Dalad on page Yud, line 11. Hine calls over Meshach Shvita Alpha Shnin to have all of this that the Yid creates and owns. The idea of Shemayim Kisim Aretz Adom Ragloi is throughout the 6,000 years that the world exists. Ubemiyuchad Bismana Golas, specifically in the time of Golas, Ubeiksa the Mashiach, and even more so during the heels of Mashiach, right before Mashiach's times. Jaws Nasi Yisran Godel B'Yosef then becomes a much greater advantage, like the advantage of light out of the darkness, like the greater light that comes and is manifest when there's darkness, like the greater wisdom that comes out from foolishness. So therefore, in the time of Golus, in the time of the heels of Mashiach, where it's a greater darkness and greater foolishness, so therefore the light is much more powerful. Then at that time of the Golus and the Mashiach becomes the Avodah, in the heavens being my throne and the earth being my footstool, in a way of completion and perfection. Shleimus Habiru v'Shleimus Aliyah, the complete refinement and the complete elevation. And this becomes a preparation and a vessel to such a state and situation that the world will be complete and in the most greatest way. With the word told us Molly, like we said before, that it says Mashiach's times, Ela told us Peretz, that it'll be full, complete, just like the word told us is written full with the vav. Now we are making the preparation for what's going to happen when Mashiach comes, this ultimate perfection. Is also then when Mashiach comes, there'll be many levels and many ascents that will be going up higher and higher, until we reach the level. Then we'll reach a state of the new heavens and the new earth that I am making, which is this an entirely new order. This is also connected with the fact that in the future. Torah Chadasha, Mitzvahs Chadasha, top of page Yud Aleph. The fact that when Mashiach comes, we're saying we're going to go up so high that the entire order of things are going to change. The heavens are going to be on new heavens, and the earth are going to be on new earth. And this is connected with the fact that when Mashiach comes, we're saying there's a new Torah and new mitzvahs that are going to come out there. There'll also be a new type of avodah by Yidden. Move on up like it's understood according and based on the Mamorim that we brought earlier in our Maimer, how this is going to be so totally above and beyond our avodah that we had up to. The idea behind this is that after the conclusion of our avodah in the heavens and the earth these days, in the way that we reach the ultimate refinement of it, then will be fulfilled what it says, that the spirit of Tumah will remove from the land. Then when Mashiach comes, it won't be an avodah of birur hara, and we need to elevate the sparks from the bad. There won't be any bad to elevate the sparks from, but we're still going to do avodah. So what's our avodah going to be? Our avodah is going to be to go up from strength to strength in Kedusha itself, like the Alter Rebbe explains in Igeres HaKodesh. Therefore, so the Rebbe says like this. Earlier we mentioned that Shamayim v'aretz is the level of Rotzi v'shuv. Shamayim is the level of rushing towards Hashem, pulling towards Hashem. Then there's the level of drawing back, bringing it down into the world. That's Rotzi and Shuv. But the Rebbe says, in such a situation where we're not dealing with the negativity of the world, there won't be tumah in the world, so we'll have holiness down here below. So the Rotzi V'Shuv is in a different type of way. Line 9, it won't be applicable, the idea of the rushing towards the Eibishter way it's these days. He is, these days, he's escaping and he is ascending from the state and situation, like it says by Yaakov Avinu's ladder, that it says that it's standing on the ground, that he has to like escape that, and he has to ascend from that ladder that's standing on the ground, and he has to go up all the way into the heavens And Chassidus explains Hashamayim, even though it means to the heavens, but Shalamayla Mishamayim. Hashamayim is even higher than the level of Shamayim. And while he's ascending on that ladder of davening, he is elevating all the matters of arza that says the sulam of arza, the ladder standing on the ground. And that also is explained to Chassidus that arza is shalamata me'eretz stam, and it's below the level of ordinary eretz. Arza means even lower. So that's the avodah now. That now we have to have the level of ratzui. That's the idea of davening specifically. So we're escaping and leaving and elevating the things of arza all the way to the level of shemaima. But that is a crucial avodah when down here below there's tumah. But kiva on line 14, kiva sha'oz lo yu lamata yonam managdim alim mastirim. Since when Mashiach comes, there will not be below matters that oppose and conceal and cover over. Va'adra, just the opposite. Through our actions and service. So then the down here below becomes specifically a home for the Eibishter. The level of the home that you will build to me. Va'ad from the Netzach Salavah until in a way of everlasting, that the Beis Hamikdash will be an everlasting building. Gulas will be a redemption, not like all the other redemptions. It'll be a redemption that's never followed by a gull. Because of that, since it'll be so different, therefore, because our avoid in Shemayim v'aretz, our avoid in Ratzui b'shuv will be a different caliber. It won't be the Ratzui as we had up till now in the time of Golus, in the time of the 6,000 years of creation. So therefore, it'll be also new heavens and new earth that I make. It'll be an entirely new order of things. I know not only a perfection and an ascent from level to level, which is the normal type of thing up till now, rather a new thing, top of page base legamri, totally new. Beyond all matters of an inspiration from below, and inspiration from above, and inspiration from below, that's dependent one on the other. The dogmas similar to what's written concerning the third Beis Hamikdash. Mikdash Adonai Kainu Yodecha, the Mikdash of Hashem, your hands have prepared. Binyana de Kuchabrichu, it's the building of Hashem. That's why it says that your hands prepared. And that's similar to what it says about Shemayim of Chadash, and what's Chadash, it says, Asher Ani Oisa, that I will do. But like my Batem Mikdash Harishainim, not like the first Batem Mikdash, Koilu Gamma Mishkan, including also the Mishkan, so you might see they Adam, that they were made by human hands. V'hainu, this means, but Oifen Shalisur Stos Satish Mamshichas Esur Sala Elah. When we talk about the Beis Hamikdash being made by human hands, that's similar to the concept of saying that it is the inspiration from down here below that draws down the inspiration from above. But when Mashiach comes, it'll be Asher Ani Oisa. It won't be a level of inspiration that has to do with us down here below. It will be rather a level that's completely beyond our level. Beyond our darkness. The Rebbe explains in spiritual levels, what does that apply to? So second paragraph on the page, line 9, the Indians, this idea, what's going to be Asherani Oisa, it's completely the Eibishter. It's not a Serusa de la Eila that's a result of Isrus Sato. It's not that quid pro quo that we are the ones that are drawing it down. That's an indication of a revelation of the inner level of At. Question is like it was explained in a mimer previous to this in Tafshin Lamites when this mimer was said. In Atik itself, there's a difference between the external level of Atik to the inner level of Atik. Though even the external level of Atik, which that itself is the inner level of Keser, Atik is the higher level of Keser. So it's already perfect. It's already not lacking anything. It's higher in the whole chain order of descent, the way it's in the most elevated state. Not only it's higher in the Seder Ishtalshlos, in a way of being completely removed and uprooted from it. Still in all, from the external level of Atik could be an idea of drawing down through an inspiration from below. So because there is this level of chitzonius Atik, since there's this level of the external level of Atik, so they can already, since it's still external, it could have some type of connection with inspiration down here below. The idea of drawing down from the inner level of Atik is in the way of an inspiration from above that's beyond any type of inspiration down here below whatsoever. It's completely, that's the idea I'm doing it. It's not something that the Yid is accomplishing. And in such a way that it's called, that it's standing before me, that it's that we're saying this level is completely before and also lefonai from the word pnimius. Giselle Inyan Pnimius Atik, that's the level of the inner level of Atik. Amit is Inyan Pnimius, the most truest level, the most innermost thing. Therefore, because it's coming from such a deep level, therefore there'll be also a new Torah, a new mitzvahs that will take place when Mashiach comes. Any questions before we go on to Ois Hey? Okay, we're holding on the bottom of page Yud Gimel. I'm sorry, bottom page Yud Beis. Ois Hey, line 25. Option is Barley, although it was explained previously. Mashiach comes, it won't be applicable. The idea of the rushing towards Hashem the way it is now, like we said before, that because rushing towards Hashem means you're trying to escape and you're trying to elevate something that's low. But the Eibusher is going to be down here. There's going to be a Dirlois Baruch Tachtoinim. There's not going to be any Ruach HaTumah. So Rotzi, as we know it, is not going to apply. Still in all, top of page Yud Gimel, Mekal Mokim, Yu, Gam Oz, Shamayim Chadoshim, Beretz Chadosha, also then will be new heavens and new earth. It's the emphasis on heavens and earth, because we said before, it's not, it doesn't say there won't be heavens and earth. And we already identified previously, heavens and earth has to do with Rotzi and Shuv. So if it would say there'd be no heavens and no earth, okay, no more Rotzi and Shuv. But it doesn't say that. It says, true, it'll be new, but there'll still be heaven and there'll still be earth. That means there'll still be Rotzi and Shuv. So how does that apply if we said that the Rotzi doesn't really apply? It says, the idea behind this is, but the Rish like to explain the Mamorim, in the Os and Lavai, when Mashiach comes, there will be the most highest type of revelation in a way that's incomparable. Until we're dealing with Hashem's very essence, the way it's revealed. And this revelation of Hashem's very essence will come down specifically to a person, the way he's a soul and a body. Baruch, like it's explained at length, Shapsaku, that the ruling between the dispute of the Rambam and the Rambam holds that the resurrection of the dead, living in this world, is only temporary, and our ultimate reward and the final reward will be in the Neshamas divested from bodies, the Neshamas in Gan Eden. Whereas the Ramban rules and says that the ultimate reward is not Gan Eden, but the ultimate reward is in Tchias HaMesim, physical bodies down here. And this is the rule. And this is the psak that we follow, that we're going to say that the neshama is going to be in the physical body. So therefore, when we talk about the revelation of Hashem's essence, we're talking about the revelation of Hashem's essence will be the soul the way it's in a body. He says that's all fine and good. 9, he says, line 9, so it should be able to be in a way that it's grasped and it exists one together with the other. The Gilui of Hashem's very essence in a created being, and not just a created being, but a physical being, shaman and guf, until they become entirely united as one entity. In Yakishur B'neim, why they in the Rotzi V'shuv. The joining between them is through the level of Rotzi V'shuv, the Mati V'loy Mati. It's the two movements of reaching and not reaching. I'll explain this in a moment. Like explain the example of this from the idea of the pulse, the fiku, the liba, the pulse that comes from the blood of the heart, by a person down here. That there's constantly in the circulation, there's the blood coming out of the heart into the body, and then it returns. That's called mati, v'loy mati. It's not rotzi v'shuv that the blood is trying to get away from somewhere negative, but part of the means how the blood sustains the body and deals with the body is that it comes to the rest of the body, then it becomes recycled and recirculated and comes further to the body. In a similar vein, Chassidus explains that this type of hamshacha that comes from the Eibishter into the world, it like comes into the world, mati, it reaches the world, and then it like pulls back. Yeah, and then it comes back again. That's the loy mati, then it comes back again. So it's either like the pulse, the circulation, sometimes it's likened to respiration, to breathing, and that, just like in the physical body, the idea of respiration and circulation, this causes the soul and the body, which are two opposites, to join together. The same thing, the level of Rotzi V'shuv in a more refined way, in Mati V'loy Mati, that's not about negative, causes and allows for the ultimate level of Hashem's oil, the level of Hashem's very essence to be able to join what our neshama, the physical body, down. Line 15. Hine gamma in the Hashemayim Chadosh, v'aretz Chadosh asher ani oisem. Also, this idea of the new heavens and the new earth that I am making, is also connected with our actions and service throughout the time of gold. So the question is, why and how? The Hagdim, he says in line 18, preface, Gamal and Yom Shiyul Asalave, also those things that will be when Mashiach comes. Chol HaKlal, top of page Yudalid, applies the rule, Da Mamal Malamaylo and Moch. It says in Pirkei Avos, know what is above you. So the simple meaning is, be aware that Hashem is above you and, watch, etc., etc. But there's the deeper explanation, like the teaching of the Mizritcha Magid and the Alter Rebbe, that all matters of above come from you and are a result of you. And should totally, it's dependent upon the service of a Yid down here below. And therefore, the same thing, this Shamayim Chodosh and Aretz Chadasha is also dependent on our avodah down here below. Especially according to the teachings of Baal Shem Tov Al what it says in the pasuk, you will be the land of desire. That all Yidden are called a land. That in that land is invested Hashem's desire. What does that mean? The idea of a desire is the inner level, the inner will. When we have a desire for something, that's a level of delight and enjoyment. When we just want something, we could want something because of some ulterior motive, not because we're really interested in that, but there's something else that we want that we can only get if we get this, so we want this. But an inner desire, a chayfetz, means that the interest is in that itself. So the Yidden are called Eretz Chayfetz. Hashem's innermost desire and delight is in us. We are not because of something else. We are part of Hashem's desire. And then in that desire itself, there could be different levels of Hashem's delight. So we say, line 8, is being an atainug until the ultimate perfection and the idea of delight. Tainug atzmi, an essential delight of Hashem. That's also the level of the inner level of Atik. As we know that in Keser, there's two levels. There is Atik Yoimin and Aricham. Arich is a level corresponding to will, and Atik is a level of delight. But what did we say is going to be when Mashiach comes? It's not going to be like now. All the revelations could be from Chitzonius Atik, from the external level of Atik, meaning in the delight itself, it's the external level of delight. Rather, when Mashiach comes, it's going to be the level of the inner level of delight. Therefore, the revelation of the innermost level of Atik when Mashiach comes, therefore, it's the connected, the revelation of the inner level of Atik has to be connected with the actions and service of the Yidden throughout the time of Golus, when there'll be Neshamas in Gufi, because since Hashem's desire is manifested in the Yidden, so therefore that desire and that Pnimius Tatainug is revealed only through the Yidden. So therefore, even that highest most level, that's higher than Esrus Losata and so on, must come through the Yidden themselves, in which is invested and embedded the innermost level of Hashem's delight and enjoyment. Any questions? Stop over here.